Mama for your mama never ends here in Big D. That's Dallas, by the way. And we in Oxnard. Let's get this thing going the best way possible. And as this room fill up, be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's including the ice wall. Micah Parsons requested a trade. Chaos. Total chaos. Total pandemonium. Put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. No San Fran audio. Come on with it. Yup. The name. Small Nation. They say ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a cocktail and trade party? Brought to you by the infamous Jerry Wayne Jones. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Quality in law, we are live in effect, baby. Come on with it. Mama said there'll be days literally just like this. And as this room fill up, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Cowboy Nation, hearts are broken on the Parsons side because if you read the tweet, you can feel the tensions of he's hurt because he felt as if though he came to the Cowboys organization with an open hand and an open mind and an open heart, and the lions of the heart is broken because of the simple fact that they use these contract negotiations as a ploy to gain viewership, as a ploy to dismiss the opinions of the masses. And it's crazy, Cowboy Nation, and I get it. I understand it. It's the situation and scenario that we don't want to hear at this point. And it's family business, too, with the Cowboys, the Joneses, the Jerry Joneses, and the Jones family. I think that they handled this situation incorrectly, right? Let me see if I can pull up this Twitter. Let's see if we can do it all at the same time. I hope nothing crazy pop up, boy. I'm pulling up Twitter blind. Okay, no. Here it is. Okay, good. It states here, Micah Parsons has requested a trade out of Dallas, right? And you can see that there's been multiple news and reports. Diana Russiani also, I'm murdering her name, but appreciate her. She states this right here, and let me know if the audio is straight. I know we're trying to get things moving and grooving here. But she states here that the relationship has deteriorated to the point where the star pass rusher is considered drastic measures, in which could include a trade request. Now, when we start talking about these things, I always want to be real, raw, and really tapped in with the community here. And if anybody knows anything with Parsons, he plays with a chip on his shoulder, right? And I get it. I understand the notions of, hey, the people that said, hey, Parsons played in 4 playoff games and he only have 1 sack, man. He ain't that this and he ain't this and that, And on top of that, with Parsons, he's a one-trick pony and all of this stuff, right? All of that bullsugar that people try to dissect and think that they are the smartest people in the room. But I do have Parsons' tweet up, and we're going to read over it together. Hopefully my Mississippi eyes and my hooked-on phonic brain can get this thing going for you guys. Bear with me while I pull this up right quick. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're still here live in Oxnard, sunny California. There's no practice today. And what a good day to talk about Cowboys, because Cowboys rule the world, right? But it states right here, let me see if I can get it together. Hold on, bear with me. My AI teacher, she ain't traveled with me to Oxnard, so just so y'all bear with me. Cowboy Nation, This dude suck, comic econ. Appreciate you, TA Cowboy. You can't handle everybody the same way. Is the message today, right? That's the message that we're gonna try to correspond with. But he states here, yes, I wanted to be here. I did everything I could to show that. I wanted to be a Cowboy and wear that star on my helmet. I wanted to play in front of the best fan in sports and make this America team once again. You know, this team, my pops and I grew up cheering for way up in the Harrisburg, PA. Unfortunately, I no longer wants to be here. I no longer wants to be held into closed doors of negotiations without my agent present. I no longer wants a shot taken at me for getting injured while laying it all on the line in this organization and our fans and my teammates. I no longer want to have the negative connotations, I'm just going to paraphrase, created and spread out throughout the entirety of the media about me. I had purposely stayed quiet and hoped to get something done. But since there is confusion, and God is not the author of confusion, but since there's been confusion, right? And he says it's been there and cleared some things up. I had my agent to reach out to the Cowboys last offseason after my third year in hopes of getting a deal done. Remember, he lamented that he wanted to get a deal done earlier, and he said that he wanted to get the deal done last year. But we all know that the Cowboys front office, they are the smartest people in the room, right? No one else is smarter than Jerry Wayne Jones, who took $140 million that he borrowed from somebody, and he got those privileges, and he was able to buy, dare I say, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, most of us been a fan of this team before he bought this team, right? But Jerry Jones had bought this team and turned this team into a circus on how they handle certain things. But there's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But, you know, unfortunately, this team did not want to start the negotiation at that point. I was asked, okay, to focus in on the 2024 season. After that season, I told my agent once again, let me know if the audio is straight. Let me know if the audio is straight. And shame for all of those who is considering Micah Parsons to be overrated. Well, I come here to tell you, who else is going to get double-digit sacks here? Who else is going to get over 90 pressures since the birth of him being here? Who else is going to be able to get the tackles and get the plays done in big moments and big games? There's nobody else, because there's so many people out here that think that they know football and understand football, but can't explain to me who else on this team can make plays. Who else can run through A-gap and get sacks from that aspect of it? Because last season he had a totaling of 6 or 7 sacks from A-gap. And he's considered undersized, right? So who else would you want in the silver and blue with the star on the side of their helmet with heavy scrutiny, right? This beyond scrutiny with what the Cowboys bring to the organization as relates to the front office. But you guys are so clouded by your judgments that you will say to yourself, he's overrated. You will say to yourself that this kid can't play football. You will say to yourself, but not knowing the evidence of what happened before he got here, that there was nobody. We was depending on DeMarcus Lawrence, D-Law, to give us double-digit sacks. We need to stop run game. Your edge rusher responsibility is not to stop the run. Let me say again, your edge rusher responsibility is not to stop that run. Your edge rusher supposed to rush the quarterback. That is the number one thing. But when you have deficiencies throughout your team, if your cornerback is not coming down to fit, if your linebackers are not heavy enough to shed and disengage and get upfield and undisciplined, or if your linebackers are former safeties playing at that spot, you're not going to get a heavy load of production out of that. And then let me say this once again for those who idiotic to think that they can out-debate me with this. When you have a nose tackle that's 300 pounds, you're not going to stop anything. And when you overdraft for that particular situation and you know that it takes 3 to 4 years to develop a defensive tackle, you're not finna get that good juice out of your run game. So stop it with pinning the tail on one player. If anything, and I haven't found nobody that's born today or tomorrow or down the stretch that can out-debate me with this, you can put thousands of dollars on it and you will not win. If it took Aaron Donald to have damn near the Avengers to win the Super Bowl, what do you think it would take for Micah Parsons? For Aaron Donald, for those who are out here, for Aaron Donald to win the Super Bowl, it took a Leonard Floyd. It took a Sue to one point to get there. It took an Ashawn Robinson. It took a Jalen Ramsey. It took a complete team. And one thing that the Cowboys' inability to do is to draft completely. They draft to replace. They don't draft to complement. And that is the problem with this particular team. And you can't find a person that can out-debate me on that point. And you find them and you send them my way, and I'm going to leave them in body bags. I guarantee it. That's just the reality of it. But when we go back to talking about Parsons, he says, my agent informed me I should wait for other deals to get done, which is right. Because at the end of the day, the agent job and responsibility is to tell, dare I say, the players the best outcome of any situation. Just like if you get hit up in a jam as it relates to going to get arrested, you need to call and contact your lawyer. Come on with it. Yes, indeed. Jason Bourne states he is arguably the best defensive player in the league. Right? Yeah, he is. And it's crazy how old deals can get done the old Jerry way. But this new situation, this new passion with these new guys, they are not built the same way of people, not built of people all in the 90s, people that played football in the early 2000s. They can literally pack up their bags and go elsewhere because there's supposed to be parity in the league. So it is for what it is. With that being said, he said, I didn't care about securing myself of being the highest paid player. I wanted to continue to secure myself as a Cowboys long term. This was before any of the other pass rushers. Now, granted, Jerry Jones and company, they do love the aspect of being in the headlines. And we came up to the conclusion about 2 or 3 weeks ago that are the Cowboys only wanting to be in the headlines to be the highest paid positions in every group, right? So they waited forever and a day for Dak Prescott to get his deal done, right? They waited forever and a day for, let's say here, CeeDee Lamb deal to get done. Didn't you guys know that the Cowboys, if they worked correctly, starting on CeeDee Lamb's contract, that they could have gotten CeeDee Lamb for $28 to $29 million APY. But by them waiting, by them taking their time, slow-footing themselves around and pussyfooting around, that now CeeDee Lamb is the second highest or the third highest paid wide receiver? It's crazy. Headlines, players, trust. Yeah, paradox. Yeah, you're right with that, man. It's crazy how these things can all look at that. They rather sign Ferguson and ignore Micah Parsons. This is from G. Cuddy. Now, granted, the Cowboys have equivalency. Let me go to overthecap.com, over the cap. And I know it may not be updated yet. They have $31 million available to spend, Cowboy Nation. We do know that Ferg deal do increase that particular number there. Here's the deal. When Ferguson got his contract, that is the equivalency of the Cowboys paying off or paying down on their light bill, right? Or that's equivalent for them to pay their gas bill, and this missing the mortgage bill that is due. You start with the biggest contract and then you work the other ancillary pieces. I'm not saying that Jake Ferguson is an ancillary piece to this damn offense, but what I'm saying is his impact would never be as great of an impact, dare I say, of what Micah Parsons would bring to the table. All you had to do is make sure that you solidify your edge rusher, and then you add other pieces into this particular pot. But we try to be the smartest people in the room, and we say, okay, we will pay the Osas. We will pay, and I'm not saying that Osa is dog water, by the way, but we will pay the Fergusons, and we will pay the other pieces that pretty much ancillary. They are ancillary. They are not the main cog in this particular gear, but that's a whole nother conversation. So at the end of the day, when you went through your measures to go get these things done, and then you get spit upon, this is crazy. He states this right here, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you below the heavens. Hurt Gallup got paid, drop foot, shaking my head. Jalen Smith, appreciate my guy Jalen Smith and Terrence Steele. So he sent a super chat on this, and this is the thing. The reason, and I'm gonna go back and let's go back and explain this this Michael Gallup situation. So for context, for those who need to know, the Micah Parsons thing is a whole nother thing. But the Michael Gallup situation was this right here. We know that homegrown is the best way for the Cowboys to evaluate their roster, right? We understand that. We understand that the Cowboys love to say that this guy is homegrown, which is cool. Amari Cooper, shout out to my guy, Boss Cowboys Sports, he came up with the term, is a bastard because he's an outside guy, right? The argument for signing Michael Gallup over Amari Cooper was the simple fact that Amari Cooper get hurt more than Michael Gallup and misses games. But if you do your homework and you knew that Michael Gallup missed more games than Amari Cooper, and on top of that, that they didn't like the fact that he stood tall and said, I'm not finna get the jab because I believe in my own way of curing myself, and I trust myself to stay healthy. Now, granted, he had a test to come back, and you know that's when they was doing those tests, and it was a positive, negative, positive, whatever it was, but he really didn't have it. But by rule of the NFL, he had to sit out 2 or 3 games, and it was crazy because he didn't have the jab. So the Cowboys front office, they felt as if, though, he wasn't compliant, and they felt against They start working against Amari Cooper. Keep in mind, Amari Cooper took $6.5 million to play here. He took $6.5 million less to stay and play here. I'm going to tell y'all, Amari Cooper will never get that money back. He would never get that money back, right? And according to information, today, Amari Cooper retires. It's crazy. He would never get that $6.5 million back. And what the Cowboys did, that they signed Michael Gallup, who had bad knees and who was coming off of an injury, to a $50 million guaranteed contract. I can't make this stuff up. And we can't name one game that he played in that was a game changer since he got paid. It's crazy. You can't make this stuff up. Sidney Jones states Dak got paid. He showed up to camp and he stayed off of the internet, right? And here's what we can't quantify. Dak is 32. Parsons is 25, 26. That's the age gap between the two. They grew up in 2 different areas and they have 2 different roles as it relates to their positioning. And not everybody is like a Dak Prescott. I received death threats for supporting Dak Prescott, and I'm not even on the level of Dak Prescott, and I'm just a content creator. So I can only imagine what death threats that Dak Prescott received for playing with the silver and blue and the star on the side of the helmet. What hate and what vicious excoriations that he received for playing with the silver and blue and the star on the side of the helmet. Not everybody's built like that. for a game that we play. This is supposed to be entertainment. Yes, indeed. This is not, look, LuxTube says, Law, you're getting way too emotional. This is the Jones. Don't view him like you do and not as a game changer. Disappears in big games, not worth breaking the bank for. All right, so with that being said, this is not emotional talk. This is just reality talk. And for those who like high in estrogen, they might feel as if, though, this is emotional talk. But this is how man talk, baby. And what I'm telling you from a man to man, if you are one, is that this is not how to handle business, because nobody in the National Football League is handling business like that. So if y'all agree with me, put 11 in the chat, because I'm just telling you for what it is. I don't give a dog whether or not he's here or not. It's just the reality of how they handling the business aspect of it. So that's just for what it is. This is no emotional talk. And last I checked, I'm the one that's out here speaking, and I'm the one that got death threats. So let me know what death threats you receive, just for talking about football. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what I'm telling y'all is the truth. Nobody handles business this way. And it's been 30 years, 30 seasons. And if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, let me know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I'm getting at. But what I'm telling y'all is that, look. So therefore, I see nothing but 11s in there. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys has fumbled this particular situation. And here's the craziest part about it. For those who say, well, this is going to take money out of the pockets. Bruh, we sitting on $30 million. We are sitting on $30 million. At the end of the day, whether Micah Parsons is doing a YouTube podcast, talking down there at Pelican Bay, name me somebody else that can give you the results, because people are saying that he don't show up in big games. This is the exact inverse of what we talking about with even Dak Prescott. So when we start talking about postseason, I want you guys to pause and let me know who else showed up in the postseason. I'm waiting. Who else in the postseason on the defensive side of the ball? Who else gave us a sack, strip, fumble? Who else forced a turnover? Who else made a play that when it mattered the most? See, what we try to do is we try to pin the tail on one individual when last I checked, it's 11 guys out there on the field. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five. It's 11 guys out there on the field, and that's on the defensive side and as well as on the offensive side. So if you can tell me who else showed up on defense instead of just saying that one person is the issue, that speaks high volumes of coaching, not the individual. When you have one individual that can't show up and give us the results, then that's that particular situation. But when you have a group of people, when you have the entirety of the D-line, when you have the entirety of the linebacker room, when you have the entirety of the cornerback room, that speaks volumes of coaching that have nothing to do with the individual player. Nothing to do with the individual player. People act as if, though, when we go to these postseason games, that everybody is singing from the same hymnal, that everybody is on the same page. But at the end of the day, I encourage you guys to go back, watch these games, learn to read and watch football, read the defense, read the offense, and let me know. Because we have the tendencies of saying, yeah, Jerry Jones was right. Oh, we had the tendency for people to lean on the Cowboys front office side and say, all right, we picking the billionaires over the millionaires. And the billionaires, even when they have $30 million to spend, that all of a sudden that the millionaires are the wrong ones, and the billionaires, they don't have no skin in the game. Every player, like I said, since I've been doing this channel, and no shade at Ryan Shazier, but every player is a Ryan Shazier hit away from never playing in the National Football League again. Every single player put their life on the line. Every single player, years after they finish playing football, are considered CTE bound if they can't remember certain things. But at the end of the day, it is for what it is. David J., appreciate you. I hate to bring this up, but this is a complexions issue. Law, no player with a pale skin tone has to fight this hard for a contract extension. now, come on, David. You gonna do this to me? You gonna do this to me right now? Come on, man. You know, I'm trying to get things steered in the right direction. Riggs, I can't take this no more, Riggs. I can't take this no more. You know. All right. Now we have documented information that Zach Martin, who have less than 6 holding penalties in his career, had to sit out. And hold out in order to get his bag, right? And one can argue that he took the knife and he stuck it right into the Joneses, right? And started twisting it. And I get all of that. But Martin had to do the same thing. So I think that the Jerry Joneses, that they have a complex of the need to be right issue. Let's just say that. Because on one end, now the Joneses do things what that will benefit them. And they will do things that will put them in higher heights, right? And they do operate to a degree out of a different type of impact. Harrington, appreciate you. Micah going to the Eagles, F Philly. You know, I feel you on that. I know a lot of people doing their victory parade right now. Don't make this about color. Trey Hendrickson still hasn't got paid. We definitely not going to steer that ship that way. But I can tell you that this particular organization and franchise, they do operate out of the need to be right. They want to be right. They feel as if, though, their philosophy and their principle will be right. But here's the thing. Once glass is shattered, no matter how much you try to put that glass together, there's going to be chips and cracks on it. And if you value and if you covet it, your star player, then he should want to be here. He should deserve the need to say, hey, I want to retire here as the Cowboys. But people going to always remember how you made them feel, right? Not what you say and not what you do, but they remember how you made them feel. And if you ever feel in a way that you are not valued to what you can bring to the table, then that's where you draw the line in the sand and say, hey, just trade me. Let me go somewhere else where I'm appreciated. You know, so the Cowboys, here's what a lot of people, when you're thinking about the Micah Parsons and what he said in that long excerpt, be sure to check him out. And let me just share this because I'm not going to read the rest of this. My hooked on funny guys and I hooked on funnicking right correctly. But I'm going to share this page with y'all. Go to his page. Go to his page and read for your own self. I always tell people, go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of these players, they're looking at it like, hey, you only tolerating me. You're not celebrating me. You only using me for my skill sets and my ability. But the moment I'm not able to achieve and across the board, let me just say this across the board. Let me say this across the board. Before I read, I'm going to read this super chat, and I'm going to say this across the board. Law Dr. Q, I told you in the past that this team will not get to where they want to until JJ and Stephen Jones are both gone. Disgusting ownership. Yeah. Here's the truth about it. There's no way around this. There's no way around TJ Watt getting his bag. There's no way around 49ers Bosa of not getting his bag. There's no way around Myles Garrett, not Milroe, to get his bag. There's no way around when you are a star-studded guy, Aiden Hutchinson. There's no way around it. The only way that you can get around these conversations if you act upon this early. Now, if the Cowboys always had in their mind, their cranium, in the words of Michael Parsons, not Michael Parsons, but Michael Irvin, where he at? Let me crack your cranium and fertilize your brain. In the words of that, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go.
Let me crack your cranium and fertilize your brain.
If you knew that you had even a notion to trade away your top tier player, why sully and denigrate? This would be the time to elevate and motivate, right? And say, hey, this guy, and speak of the glowing attributes about things and get things going. Here's what I'm going to say. It would have been better for the Cowboys to boost up Parsons to make the trade versus tearing down Parsons to then make the trade. Just like Amari Cooper when he went to the Browns, it would have been better. It would have been better for them to do absolutely these things. LuxTube said these YouTubers are in their feelings about undersized off-ball linebacker who's playing D-end. All right, so for first and foremost, I'm glad I'm not a YouTuber. I'm glad I'm not just a YouTuber. I'm a business owner. I'm Law Nation Sports Media. You can look me up. I'm open to multiple publications beyond YouTube. We're doing about 19 million views a month. So not even networks are doing that. So therefore, I'm not just a YouTuber. I am a content creator that's beyond YouTube because we are on multiple outlets, right? And we have our own website. So I'm beyond a YouTuber, by the way. But here's what I'm going to say. Even if he's an off-ball linebacker, it would be faster and better to add to that versus taking away that. And if you already have a disgruntled player about that, then your trade value decreased because teams now know that, hey, they got a leg up because he's already wanting out of the situation. But the Cowboys do hold the key to it because they still have him under contract. But why drill holes in your own boat? Why drill holes in your own boat and complain about Bayou sinking? Because you still need that production. Name me somebody on the Cowboys team and organization in the last 3 or 4 years that can give you more production and productivity than Micah Parsons. That's not an emotional statement. That's truth. And I have yet to find anyone that can out-debate that point. Quentin Warner, appreciate you for the $5 cash. Appreciate you, man. Pay this man because he deserves it. He has exceeded expectations, playing a position that you didn't even drafted him for. You are 1,000% right on that question, Dr. Q. Appreciate you. So that's just for what it is. Yes. So under contract for 3 years, they can hold those rights too, by the way. They can put them on the franchise tag multiple times. But here's how the franchise tag works against us. And put it like this, Bandit for life. Boy, are we talking to all of the Crayola sections today? Are we talking to people that don't have movement going in their life today? You know what I'm saying? Because they said, what had the production gotten us? Bro, it's been 30 years, 30 seasons. That is by far your best edge rusher. And on top of that, it goes back to D-Ware. There were people, this was before we got onto this content creation side, but there were people saying that D-Ware was horrible because of his neck injury, because he couldn't get X, Y, and Z. And the next thing I did is the next season, we seen D-Ware in the Super Bowl, right? So at the end of the day, why damage your goods and then try to trade them? If not, if you knew that you wanted to depart ways from him, then you elevate said player so that you can get the most max value of it. That's just what we are saying. Yeah. Yes, indeed. He's right. The hell of production got us one player, not going to make the difference. We've been getting beat out by scheme on offense and defense in the last 12 years, not the player issue. Yes. Yes, boy, we finally got people understanding the situation, Yeah. So at the end of the day, if you are on a team, it's not one individual. I go all the way back. I want you guys to go and just rewind to what I said about 30 minutes ago. Even with Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald always had production. He always had productivity. He always was pretty much an impactful player. But what did they do in order for Aaron Donald to win in the postseason? What did they do for Aaron Donald? And he is by far considered a great player. So you need a team. As great as Michael Jordan is, we go on with Michael Jordan, played 7 seasons before he got a chance to win one. Now, I don't know, Micah Parsons not in his 7th season, and I'm not comparing Micah Parsons to Michael Jordan, but we know that Michael Jordan had unbelievable skill set, but he couldn't get past the damn Detroit, right? He couldn't get past Detroit. They had to create Jordan rules. They had to add in more players. Name me the championship that Jordan won in the NBA without Pippen. Without a great coach, you need a team. People fail to realize that. Dr. Q, if you prefer to productions of Micah Parsons, you need to be ashamed of yourself. It takes 10 other players on defense. Yes, indeed, man. Come on.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
Yeah. My guy states, Bat says, agree. Law Jordan was 2-9 in the playoff. Yeah. And then Phil and Pippen game, and that changed the history. Like, people look at, like, production. Myles Garrett been in the league forever. And he's been in 3 playoff games, and he had 1 sack. And I know people will give off. People will literally give up their spleen right now and the kidney to have a Myles Garrett here, You need a team. That's why it's like, it goes back, and I know we got a few Eagles fans in here. It goes back to people thinking that Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl by himself, as if though he was throwing the ball to people not named A.J. Brown and Smitty, to a running back that was not named Saquon Barkley. Yeah. Brandy states, I sent you 3 super chats, 1 with a. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up, Brandy. Appreciate you so much. Jay Sar says, hey, Law, why can't we for once build a complete team? The Joneses want to keep everything unbalanced. Yeah, and here's my take on Micah Parsons overall. I'm not saying not to trade him. I'm not saying that if you guys believeth that he's no good, that he's an off-ball, undersized linebacker. But what I'm saying, man-to-man talk to you guys, what benefit, just like Parsons said, what benefit the organization to sully and denigrate, to talk and cast aspersions on the same player that goes in and put his life on the line? What do you benefit from that? It's the same even with fickle Cowboy fans with Dak Prescott. What would you benefit from beating up your own product that leans on and need your guidance, that needs your voice out there to when he look into the fans and people are cheering instead of booing, right? Even when we do have a win. So those are things that Cowboy fans really has missed the boat on. I think that from a fan base, we have become more toxic than the Eagles, than the Washington, than the Giants. Out of all of the fan bases in this particular division, we have become the negative drama of the fan base, been spilling out and spitting upon crazy things because nobody beats up their player the most like Cowboy fans do. There are tons of people that would spit upon Trayvon Diggs' contract. There's tons of people that spit upon even Deron Bland, even if he's not even signed. There are people saying, hey, man, he shouldn't be on the outside. You need to kick him back inside the slot. He only plays well against horrible teams, right? There are tons of people in Cowboys community that think that. Wanza, appreciate you. This would be a masterclass if Micah does get the extension and he would have beaten the Joneses at their own game. I hope this is the case. You meaning that let it out on the public, on the social medias. Now, this is one thing that I know for sure, that there got to be a rebuttal now, because Jerry and Steven, they going to have to pick up the phone now. They're going to have to speak to, dare I say, David Mulugeta. They got to. There's no ifs, ands, and buts in hiding around that. You got to speak to David Mulugeta now. David J. states, sorry about the previous super chat. I'm just really frustrated and pissed at the front office right now. I should not have brought in skin tone into this. I get it, man, because people would never understand if they never been wrapped in our skin of how it feels to be in this situation, right? And I can tell y'all numerous of counts of things that's been disadvantaged for me, right? But that's not my battle cry. Hell, I'm from Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you stories. I can tell you, and I drove from Mississippi to Texas. I can tell you parts in Texas that there's a sundown. You know what I'm saying? But people that don't look like us would never identify with those type of things. But just like if there are Shay Sharps and Stephen A. Smiths of the world that's making hands over fists far as money doing content, then Law Nation have his spot in the room too, not to bring in skin tone, right? But we do know that there always going to be a tilt of scale of, give it up, said, you know what I'm saying, unbalances. But I just don't want to bring that up at this point and at this time. B. Bird, Cowboys. The gap between the Eagles is 95% front office style relationships and respect of their players. Yes. People would take care of the things that they covet. If it don't matter what it is, if it's your very first car, and if you love that car, you're going to wash it every day. You're going to put if you don't have a car garage, you're going to buy a tarp, make sure you cover it, right? That's your baby. You're going to make sure you vacuum, clean it out. You're going to spray the tires with Armor All. You're going to make sure that that's your pride and joy. Or if you have a horse, if you grew up in the country like me, you're going to make sure you groom your horse to a degree, that you put new horseshoes on it. You're just not going to wear it down and run it out. The Cowboys front office, they don't do that well. They say one thing, throw rocks and hide and try to get less and try to be the smartest person in the room. The Cowboys got the complex, the need to be right. The need to be right. Just Training states, Law, I'm just exhausted, tired of the Joneses. Why must the front office move like this every big contract negotiation? Negative narratives, subtitle media shots. Why? You know, it is crazy. It's crazy. All I can say is that since the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in 1995, in 1996, Jerry Jones sued the National Football League and got $750 million that he won over the NFL. He won. He didn't lose. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to tell you, $750 million in 19 of 96. Come on, y'all give me what that would be modern day, how much money that contract would have been if you wanted that today, right? On top of that, Jerry Jones, since that Super Bowl in 1995, 1996, he have gotten a helicopter, a helipad, a $3.5 billion playpen in Arlington, a $2.8 billion playpen in Frisco, right? And he had been inducted into the Hall of Fame. He got a gold jacket, baby. So when he's dead and gone, pushing up daisy, he might outlive us all. He's considered successful. He's one of the only owners right now in the National Football League with 3 rings, 3 championship rings. So who could we be to tell him how to run his business when he made more money post the Super Bowls than when he was making it when he was winning the Super Bowls? So this is a a money situation that he's making more money now than he made in the 90s. Law, the Crayola comment had me rolling, but the great offseason just went down the toilet with this SHI. You can put the T on there if you want to. But I'm still rolling with them boys and F all of the rest. DC for life. Law Nation is the GOAT. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping in. Hey, it is for what it is. It is for what it is. Now, Brandy, I can't find your super chats. If you can't, do me a huge favor. Do me a huge favor. Can you just post it in this again? And I can try to read it, but Bandit for life, appreciate you. He says, Ken, folks, Dallas has good teams. Stop acting like we haven't had enough to make a run. I'm a Crayola, then I learned from listening to you, laughing out loud. Yes, indeed. Now, here's how we can talk about this. The Cowboys did have great teams, or we can say good teams. And great is a whole nother conversation. Elite is a whole nother conversation. We had good teams. We had multitudes of situations that we had placed ourselves in to situations that we needed one or two more guys to make plays. But instead of going out there and garnering and grabbing that one or two guy, we went and selected to go get a James Washington. We selected to start the season off with a Noah Brown. Not to cast aspersions upon those boys, but we fought into a contract situations that instead of going out there and getting a Derrick Henry, we said to ourselves, we can be just as good with a Rico Didal. So our good teams could have been great teams. Our great teams, if you want to quantify them as being great, could have been elite teams. Because we get into these battle over dollars and we don't complete and get a complete team. We will have things that work on one side, but not the other. We will have passing game with no run game, or we will have run game without passing game. We will have offense, but without defense. We will have defense, but without the ability to stop the run. Why? Because we don't forecast. We don't look at this team and say to ourselves, if your linebacker that year when we went 12-5, went down, and his name was LVE, who we drafted in 2018 to be our linebacker. If he goes down before the trade deadline, this is not emotional talk, these are fact talks, right? That if he goes down, he get injured before the trade deadline, instead of like any other GM or any other team that will pick up the phone and make an acquisition like a Roquan Smith that was available at that time, or go out there and get someone else. But what we do is we say, hey, we got a good team. We can put a safety at linebacker and get the results done. You're not winning in the postseason that way, because your inefficiencies, your deficiencies shows up. And when you are an undisciplined team, not just by ladder of penalty, but I'm talking about going down on fourth side, beating your feet to know where you're supposed to be at, shooting through A gap and B gap. Instead of pointing out the inefficiencies, what Cowboys do is that they would say, okay, 11 is the problem. Okay, 4 is the problem. But we had Law, we had 9 Pro Bowlers who ran the ball. When you see other teams, when their star-studded players go down, they're picking up the phone, they're making a trade acquisition. When they don't have the ability to do certain things, they making sure that they go grab the people that can make something happen. But we'll mosey along and we'll get by chance and paint this picture. Oh, we're a great team. Go to the postseason, and teams that know how to make the necessary adjustments from the front office aspect, they go get players. But we rest on our own and say, yeah, Rico is just as good as a Derrick Henry. That's what we do. Oh, we don't need a linebacker. Marquise Bell is just as good as a Roquan Smith. That's what we do. Micah will stay here. It's like this. JB2 says, insane work. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for jumping in. Below the heaven, peanut butter and no jelly. You're right. You're right. Peanut butter, no jelly. And those are things that we all have these things, issues with. Law, is this only a current day issue? No. We seen Dez Bryant on this team. And the most thing that they can do to add to this, the most thing that they could add to this was a Terrence Williams. They literally had 3 players on one. You couldn't give Tony Romo another player, another outside weapon. Look, DeMarco Murray was on this team for forever and a day. And we didn't utilize him until his final year of his contract in 2014, right? And then decided to get rid of him the next year. It's crazy. And you're right. When Micah get his money, this Bama better show up at the end of the season, real talk. And Posey, I know you've been following the channel for a long time. And we are the only organization. This is the only organization to do that. Right? And DP, I'm not beating you up, but this is what we do. We tie in the money, and we would say, all right, now we better win the Super Bowl. We better have 10 sacks. We put all of the pressure on one person because they drag it out of the media. They spread all of the false narratives. They point this out, they point that out. And whenever we pay a player, we put that they better. They better. But when other teams, when they go and sign their players, it's just like we wake up one morning and we say, okay, all right, cool, he signed. But there's no, hey, they better. And that's one of the things that we are doing. We do this all the time. Oh, man, Dak Prescott got paid $60 million APY. And Dak Prescott better take us to the Super Bowl. And we dismiss everything else. Law, do you have any truth to this? Well, let me go right here. Let me close this right here. And let me spread this out so you guys can see the teams on the other side. Let me see if I can do this right quick. Hold on. All right. We're seeing on this chart right here, the Eagles got $30 million available to spend. The Cowboys got $31 million. That's the difference of a Perrion Winfrey on this team. I'm not trying to elevate the Eagles and their organization and their franchise on how they handle their contracts. But one thing that I can say for sure is that with the Eagles, they paid their quarterback from an overall contract is more monies than Dak Prescott. He's getting paid $255. Dak Prescott getting paid $240. And I get it. $15 million. Hey, that goes a long way. But hey, if I had somebody to get paid $1 and someone else getting paid $15 million, you'd be like, hey, shoot, give me that $15 million. That's the differences between the two, far as the length or the value. Joshua Allen got paid $330 million. It's equivalent to being $90 million more. Nobody's selling. Hey, Josh Allen, better get it done. To a point. What's this guy named for the 49ers? Didn't he get paid money? He got paid $250 million. There's nobody saying Brock Purdy must win the Super Bowl now. Nobody's saying that. And by the way, they got $47 million available to spend. To that point and to that degree, the Lions, Jared Goff, he's getting paid right near $250 million. He got $48 million to spend in cap. So what I'm getting at is that we fall into this we fall into this mindset that you can't pay players plus go use money to go get someone else. These billionaires has figured out a way to convince thousandaires that they are right, or I think y'all are thousandaires, right? And if y'all are millionaires, I don't want to leave y'all out of the group, or hundredaires, I don't know. But if you thousandaires are taking the side of the billionaires while they get the money, it's crazy. It is flat out crazy. People are literally taking Jerry Jones' side of this particular argument and thinking that this is the way that you should handle business. I can't make this up. Yeah, yes, indeed. I can't make this up. So let me see what we have here. We got another tweet here. Yeah. Yeah. And if anybody feel offended today, charge it to my beard, not my heart. I'm just speaking from the real. All right, sources. This is from Ed Warner. Despite the public ridicule of the Cowboys organization and his trade request to the Dallas front office, I'm told that Micah Parsons has no intentions of leaving training camp and incurring the $50K in daily fines as mandated by the NFL. Yeah, because at the end, he requesting that, hey, I would like to be traded. I would like to get off of this team. But at the end of the day, with Micah Parsons, he's saying that I'm still under contract. I'm still going to play it out. But what we're getting at from a Cowboys fan base, and for those who've been following the channel for a long time, is that we shouldn't have to fight like this. That's all. At the end of the day, that's my only thing that I'm trying to tell people. We shouldn't have to do all of this fighting. Ark Diddy says trade Micah for Quinyon Williams and picks. Okay. Takes two to tango, right? Right. And like I said, if you are a Cowboys fan, you already know how that goes. Bear with me right quick. Let me see if I can find another way to let me see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, hold on. I think I can find a way to get to your super chat, Brandy. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you for your support. All right, so let me go right here. Brandy states, Jerry, how you let this happen? She also states, I'm so tired of Big and Little Jones. Yeah, Jerry and Stephen Jones, they look like each other now. And Brandy says, Law, do you think he has a real, or is this a tactic? I'm quite sure this is frustration. And then we have this right here with Posey. All right. Posey states, Law, I'm saying he deserved his money, but on the other end, I would like for him to show up more for the squad at the end of the season. That's all. Forget his money. It ain't, man. He is the focal point. Yeah. When you playing against the Dallas Cowboys, and you are right, when you are playing against the Dallas Cowboys on defense, what would be the focus point? What would be the driving force for you to stop the Cowboys on defense? I want to know from y'all, if you on defense, what would be the focal point if you playing against the Cowboys? Who will be your focal point to stop on defense? You're going to stop Micah Parsons. At the end of the day, it's up to the coaches to make the necessary adjustments. If I know for sure, if they're going to attack this particular individual, Micah Parsons, if they're going to run at him or they're going to run away from him, if they're going to make him play left-handed when he's right-handed, that's a good problem to have if you are coaching this team. G. Cuddy states they want to be like Jerry so much that that's why they take his side. He is laughing at y'all taking his side. Yeah. I mean, come on with it. Yeah. Oh, boy, I wish I could open up the phone lines, man. Let me go right here to another post from Dez Bryant, who's very familiar with this situation. All right, let me see what he had to say.
Micah, what you doing, a message that you sending, the business that you standing on is extremely major, brother. You know, the guys like myself, guys who came before you, we failed. You know, we failed tremendously on standing our ground, you know, due to the lack of knowledge and the lack of support entering a world that we was very unfamiliar with.
Right.
You know, I remember being in that situation like you. Nervous, scared, don't know which way to go. Can't trust my support system. By the way, shout out to David, man. You know, he's one of the best agents in the business. You know, I respect how y'all go about y'all business. You know, so a huge salute there. You know, but like I was saying, man, much respect to you. For real. You know, dude.
Let me say this, though. Dez Bryant. After 2014, the brother had 16 touchdowns, north of 1,400 yards, I believe. Y'all can put the correct numbers down. But he was the offense outside of DeMarco Murray. The Cowboys decided in 2015 to ship off DeMarco Murray and to go into a contract battle with your best wide receiver, Desmond Bryant, for him to finally get his contract. And there were people saying that now we better go to the Super Bowl, with the old statement of saying, with the same statement saying he got his money now. And the other guy, Joseph Randall, talking about there was a lot of meat left on the bone. People got into their feelings with DeMarco Murray because he fumbled that ball in that postseason. Well, we don't forget over here in Cowboys land. And all the Cowboys had to do is pay Dez Bryant for what he's owed and just bring back DeMarco Murray. Keep those things intact. What if I told you guys that we got rid of DeMarco Murray and got nothing back in return? Nothing. We got rid of, eventually down the stretch, Dez Bryant, and we got nothing back in return. This is what we do here, Cowboy Nation. We have our star-studded players, and we get absolutely zero zilch things back in return based off of this front office decisions of sullying and denigrating their own players.
What's best for you? Do I want to see you with the star in your helmet? Yes, I do. You know, I pray that Jerry and them do what's right, pay you what you deserve. You're an incredible talent. You are a superstar. You're worth every penny that you're asking for. You know, and if everything don't work out, you still gonna be great because that's who you are.
Facts.
You know? So, again, I appreciate you. I support you. As I always love, dog.
No doubt. So that's Dez Bryant giving him words of encouragement. Yes, indeed. And from one 88 to another 88, let's see what this 88 state. This is C.D. Lamb chimes in on Micah Parsons' trade request. C.D. Lamb states, never fail, dog. Just pay the man what you owe him. No need for this extracurricular activities. And why we got to do this? Why we got to go through these type of things on every single superstar we had? Why we got to do this? We don't have to, Jerry. It's what I'm getting at. All money ain't good money. All public, like publicity and all of this stuff. We in a new age now, baby. Shoot, certain stuff you don't have to put yourself in. R. Williams says this is all Stephen Jones trying to create his own Herschel Walker trade situation. Well, that's never going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not crafty enough. I mean, yeah, he got a chemical engineering degree. He's been doing this for like the last 30, 40 years, learning on the job and all of this stuff. But the Herschel Walker situation was completely different because the Cowboys didn't sully nor denigrate Herschel Walker. They were saying like, man, Bo Jackson, who? Man, we got Herschel Walker over here, man. He's the best player on the team. He's XY. He can walk on water to a degree. Right? You know, Herschel Walker deal was sold because of the fact that Herschel Walker was phenomenal. Even on a one and whatever team that we had played with. Well, he was on that team, but the year before, whatever that team was. So that's just for what it is. He was their best player. And that's not going to happen now because that same Stephen Jones, look, God had blessed me with a good memory to memorize some stuff, man. But that same Stephen Jones, who stood tall with his chest out, right? After we done made that acquisition for Amari Cooper and said that, hey, we got the biggest win out of that deal. Next year around this time, we'll be watching Amari Cooper highlights. We'll be watching his highlights. He bragged and boasted. He stood proudly and said, look at the things that I'm doing. For us in that year, the following year, our very first pick was a Tristan Hill. You know, God don't like ugly. You know, come on, man. Tristan Hill was our very next pick. I can't make this stuff up. And we passed up on a DK Metcalf. We passed up on A.J. Brown and all those other wide receivers that was very much noticeable in that draft. We drafted a Tristan Hill, ladies and gentlemen. Sure. So it is for what it is. Yeah, Timothy says he would get tagged out of it in spite. Yeah. You know, it's crazy, man. Cowboy Nation. Yeah, yes, indeed. It's crazy, Cowboy Nation. It is flat out crazy. But this is what people see. This is what people see how this organization is being ran. And this is how we are saying that this organization is looking like and is not to this point appeasing because of the simple fact that we have these things going on with this Cowboys organization. Give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. And granted, let me argue the other argument that yeah, he will get paid. Yeah, he will be on this team. By saying all of those things, that he will get paid, he will be on his team, and all of these things. I get all of that. Let me see if I can bring this up. Y'all bear with me. Let me bring this up again. Even though he may get paid and he may stay here, the damage has already been done. That's equivalent to that guy that got caught on Coldplay. You know what I'm saying? That was kissing the other HR lady. And Stan, yeah, baby, you know, I was at this party. I was at this event. I was with this other lady. But, hey, man, I still love you. You know, I'm still with you. I'm definitely not going to leave you. The damage has already been done. You done already threw rocks. You done already showed yourself what you think of said player. There's nothing like when somebody believes in you the first time and there's no warm feeling. It's nothing like when people see, like Roland, my auntie, I see your auntie, Facts Law. There's nothing like when somebody genuinely doing things for you and not expecting things to get done in return. Like, look, I don't want y'all to just send me super chats in just so your name can be seen on there. And if I don't read your comment on your super chat, that you get angry and frustrated and pissed off at me, right? I want you to send your support because you believe in Law Nation. I want you to send your support because you trust my words, but not ask to be a mod or do things in order to be seen. No. Do things out of the consciousness of your heart, man, to know that, hey, that this guy's going to get it out of the mud. It take me 7 to 8 hours just to upload that practice footage, fam, for you guys, right? I'm not asking for y'all to send me $100. I'm not asking for y'all to send me 50, but I do appreciate it, right? So that's the same thing with this particular players. I'm not saying that I'm on the level with players and these sorts, but these players can feel as if though if Jake Ferguson got $50 million and he didn't have to lift up a finger, bat an eye on or feel certain type of way that this organization feel jaded about what he did, don't y'all understand that Ferguson was considered chopped liver last year? People were considering saying that, hey, Schoonmaker's better than Ferg. Man, Brevin Spann-Ford is going to have higher potential than Ferg. But Ferg woke up the next day with a $50 million contract with an extension of $13 million a year, top 10 in his particular position. He didn't have to argue at all about his money. He didn't have to tell his agent, or he didn't have to hear, hey, his tolerance, man, is becoming very thin. From the front office been leaking that stuff out. And I know Ferg been dating some lady and got married and all of this stuff, right? So when we say those things and we look at it, these players, they do have feelings too. Y'all acting as if though Osa, when you look at his contract, and shout out to my guy Osa, but y'all act like Osa was drugged out through the cold and the mud. He was on that same team that Micah Parsons played on in the postseason. He was the same defensive player that allegedly couldn't stop the run, but he got his bag. And the Cowboys on the order of operation didn't handle it correctly. Man, I digress. All right, so with that being said, Drake Kennedy states you would rather pay 2 number 1 wide receivers, or I guess that's wide receivers, than an edge rusher who hasn't been a difference maker when it mattered the most. We just drafted talented pass rushers. This is a team building. Gotta ignore feelings. Much love. All right, so this is equivalent to cutting your nose off for spiting your face. Because what you're saying here is that you will leave the known for the unknown.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
So what you're saying, Drake Kennedy, is there's no need to pay Parsons. We got Donovan Ezoraku, right? We got Marshawn Nealon. And on top of that, we got Dante Fowler. And we got Tyrus Wheat as our edge rushers, or Peyton Turner, or whoever may stand tall at that edge rusher position. And they can equivalent of what Parsons did. And we can do not just, because that was the whole argument of getting rid of Dez, by the way, is that we don't need one wide receiver. We can do a wide receiver by committee. So what I'm getting at, Drake, is that Law Nation is in his feelings, that I'm crying under these shades because the Cowboys refused to pay Micah Parsons 40 AP to pay 40 APY, and we should get rid of Parsons and expect that these guys going to deliver over 90 pressures, that these guys, since it haven't been the 4 or 5 years that Parsons been here, that we haven't made it to the Super Bowl with them anyhow, it would be better to get rid of him and then just roll with the draft picks and Fowler, and we can get the same production, and we can be as a complete team. Is that Parsons is the problem? You know, is that what I'm saying, Drake? Is that what I'm getting at, Drake? Is that what you're saying and over? Is because it's Parsons. He's the problem. And let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong. Yeah. I don't know, man. What are we coming down to? You know. Jerry Rice played in the league for over 20 years. How many rings do Jerry Rice have? So out of the, Jerry Rice got 3 or 4 rings. I think he got 3 rings, right? So out of the 20 years that he played in the National Football League, dismiss those other years and say get rid of him and add in more and more guys, more and more weapons, and we okay. That's what we doing now. That's the process. Yeah, Micah Parsons to the Jags, Joshua Hines Allen in picks. Okay, I feel you. Yeah, and trusting Coach Eberflus' system and scheme, Yeah, this might be a Arch Manning moves from Reno. I don't know, man. Stephen Jones, get your daddy on the phone, D-Law. I feel you. We tired of people running it, like the content. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. So we only have Fuller now to stop the bullshit. Law stop. We building championships off a trade. Let's change it up now. Here's my thoughts. If we're going to trade away Parsons, don't damage the goods. Say that, hey, he is the greatest guy out there. That he gives you over 90 pressures a year. You don't have to sully and denigrate him. That's what I'm saying. Boy, they ain't this right, Dre Madden. People think that Madden is fantasy football now. Budget Jerry and his yacht. Parsons have a couple of first rounders. Oh wow. Dre, you see we want another 30 years of BS. Yeah, minimum of 2 first-round picks. After y'all said he's no good, how's that going to work? How you going to get 2 first-round draft picks after you done said that he's no good? It don't work that way. I think it's funny when people would, Parsons, this is crazy. Yeah, Parsons is trash, man. He a one-trick pony, man. He been in 4 playoff games with 1 sack. Let's get 5 first-round draft picks for him, man, because he's no good. He's podcast Parsons. I can't make this stuff up. That's what y'all sounded like. I think it's funny. Shout out to you, Jason Bourne. Appreciate you, man. He says, I think it's funny people would want a first-round draft pick in hopes that the player and wishes from a football gods that we get a great player and talented one like Parsons, and we have a 26-year-old Parsons. It makes no sense. Yeah. You already got your talented player, but you said let's get rid of that and let's go find another one. I can't make this stuff up. Or what incentives would this bring to the table for your other players? Like Donovan Ezaraku can be looking at don't y'all know how crazy this would be? Pay Pickens and or Parsons. This is from Arch Diddy. Man, that name is so crazy, fam. All right, yeah. Y'all bugging, yeah.
That's where the guts went.
Here's how it goes. It's crazy to think that the Cowboys are building something that they can give a valid excuse that Donovan Ezaraku can come in here. He's undersized, by the way. Him and Parsons is about damn nearly the same size. That Donovan Ezaraku can be going into his 4th or 5th season, right? Shadowing, you know what I'm saying? Or just shattering all what Parsons is able to do for him to come to the table and they say, yeah, we'll pay you. we'll pay you. Yeah. No, it ain't gonna work that way. Shoot, Donovan Ezaraku looking right now saying, I seen what y'all did to Parsons. Shoot, let me get on up out of here too. Yes, indeed, man. I can't make this stuff up. Y'all think that players are gonna be sitting back watching this and saying to themselves, okay, well, they ain't gonna do me like that. Oh man, come on, man. I can't make this stuff up, man. All edges you name are enough to win it all. This is from Sidney Jones. I think it's a losing battle, man. It's a losing battle with y'all, man. Micah. Let me see. All right, let's see what we got here. Let me see what he got here. Let me see what they said. All right, let's see what we got here. Boom. Let me see what we got here. I got to read this one really, really good. Hold on. Boom. It says, that Micah Parsons news is stretching across all walks of life to bring David Moore and Michael Gelkin out of retirement to comment on this subject. Appreciate you. It's a crazy world. Okay, so yeah, I forgot David Moore was. Let me see what he said. David Moore. Yeah, and let's see what we have here. Let me see what he said. Parsons will use the social media to engage and combat Jerry Jones in a way Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and other players involved in the contract dispute would not. This brings an unpredictable element to the negotiation that hasn't existed in this place. Game on. So yeah, that is a very, very intriguing philosophy here. But at the end of the day, when we start talking about these things and we start bringing up contracts and agencies and things for attention, this is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, I hope this isn't a joke. Yeah, yes, indeed. Dre, the defense as a whole has struggled against the run. How can Micah improve that single-handedly? Yeah, I mean, you know who else? You know who else is just horrible against the run? Yeah, don't y'all know who else is horrible against the run? There's only like a percentage. I think it's like only a percentage better than Micah Parsons, about 3 or 4%. It's Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is not a good run stopper on the edge. He's not. And nobody brings that up because they see the 49ers going to the Super Bowl. A team success. Fred Warner being able to travel hook the sidelines, being able to play a defense that fit them. But at the end of the day, we would take a dump on our own player without looking at tapes of other defensive edge rushers and say that our player is horrid against the run. And we don't even have a complete team. I mean, when you start to think about it, the 49ers, they went and got a defensive tackle to fit into that gap with the year they went to the Super Bowl. They went and got a Hargrave. They went and got pieces, a veteran piece to add into that middle. But we would sit back, and on top of that, I think that the 49ers, they also went and got other edge rushers to add to that fray too, and not just depending on their draft picks. Parsons will be paid by the end of this day. More money, Mayfield, $199. Yeah, and if he do get paid by the end of the day, that's good news for, dare I say, the organization to get this out the way. They're going to have to kiss and make up. Let's see what we have here. Appreciate you. Thank everybody for jumping in. And here we go with all of the bull sugar. Here we go with all of that. Appreciate y'all. Yes, indeed. Come on with it. Come on with it. All right. Let me go right here. Lisa, video game controller. Appreciate you. Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love and adulation. Micah Parsons is a pass rusher, is not a run stopper. Yeah. It's like we do this. We do this all the time as Cowboy fans. We do this all the time as Cowboy fans. We would literally, on offense, we would think that the quarterback got to run the ball and he got to throw the ball to himself, right? And granted, when you force the ball, you get an INT and all of this stuff. Or when you have a horrid offensive line and being able not to protect you up front, the quarterback must overcome all of that. But I'm looking over here at the Bengals. They got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They went and got Noah Fant. They got a run game. Chase Brown, ain't no one to sneeze at. And, yeah, teams, and they haven't made it to the postseason in 2 years. In 2 years. They haven't made it to the postseason in 2 years. And they got a quarterback that's considered godlike compared to our quarterback, and not one word is mentioned, right, about their inefficiencies or inability to make it to the postseason, right? And on the defensive side, the same song and dance. They got a guy, Trey, that averaged 17 to 18 sacks there, right? So maybe we just do a head-up, straight-to-straight trade. Trey Hendrickson's for Parsons, and we just flip that around. Parsons get a chance to go play up there in Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson, even though he's older, in which we would take the lump of the bad end of that deal, and he comes here. And maybe that can change our stuff. Yeah. Nick Bosa is better edge rusher than Micah. All right, so hold that point, Reginald. Now let's go across the board. Do the 49ers have a better defensive tackle than the Cowboys far as for what they build, and do they have a better complete team as it relates to linebackers on their side, so that Nick Bosa don't have to depend and lean on everything. Because at the end of the day, when you think of the 49ers, you think Fred Warner, you think Nick Bosa, you think Ward, even though he's gone, but you think of those guys over there. When you think of the Dallas Cowboys, you're thinking of only Parsons. That's the difference. So let me know. Nick Bosa is supposed to be better than Micah Parsons at this particular juncture because they're not the same age too, by the way. But let me know. Let me know how that works out for them. If Nick Bosa is considered better than Micah Parsons on edge rushing, how come they put more and more weapons and pieces around them? Greg Berry said, screw them, they suck. Yeah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Everybody, appreciate you. Why are people excusing? Why are people giving the Joneses excuses? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Trade Parsons for Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. That's crazy. That's wild. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, appreciate you. Please, Jerry, give the contract for 11. Oh, yeah, and I forgot about Sam Williams. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, shout out to Sam Williams. So we expecting to get all of that done. Arch Diddy, why Micah didn't want to party with us, man? Hey, he did. Yes, 2 years still left on his contract. We don't have to trade him necessarily. And that is part of the problem. When we start talking about trading and we start talking about contract, it is always better to get the contract done on the front end before you wait too late on the back end. It's always good. Lance, appreciate you, man. 800 viewers, under 300 likes. Man, y'all hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go. Ain't nobody say Bosa. Shout out to you, Sidney Jones. Appreciate you. Bosa had more help on his D-line just every year, not even a comparable. Yes, Justin Quarles. Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm getting at. The argument shouldn't be what Parsons individually can do, but it should be what this team can do to surround him with pieces. Like, somebody could be 1,000% right when Aaron Donald was on the Rams and say, you know what, let's get rid of Aaron Donald. Right? They could have been right. But what the Rams did, instead of tearing down Aaron Donald, they built around Aaron Donald. Did y'all pay attention to what Aaron Donald was doing just by himself? No, he wasn't going to the postseason. He wasn't being the difference maker in big games because teams knew how to rectify that or to correct that. So what they did was they added pieces around Aaron Donald. And if, like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. If you want to win in the National Football League, it takes more than one player. When you look at, and I hate to use this team, but I got to, on their D-line, on their front seven, it's not just Jalen Carter. It's Jordan Davis for the Eagles. It was Milton, who they may miss out this season, by the way. And they went and got edge rushers, and they went and got linebackers. They went and got pieces to add to, not to take away. But we have, Darren Cox says, why Dak catching strays? Because that's what we do over here. We just try to get everything. Aaron Donald was still dominant all by himself. What year? What year? What year when he was dominant all by himself? Go. Yeah. What year? Yeah. What year was Aaron Donald dominant all by himself? And excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, getting 14 to 15 sacks over 90 pressures, that is considered dominant. But it's just that if you have the silver and blue on your face and helmet and all of that stuff, we're going to get the brunt of all of those things. Oh, by the way, Myles Garrett, he's the same thing. Yeah. Can Bosa play linebacker? I doubt it. 3-4, maybe 3-4. He can be an outside linebacker, but he's not. He's in the 4-3 defense, and Bosa is not considered a linebacker at all. But I get what you're saying. Yes, Goff was there. Aaron Donald was dominating. Darren Cox says but y'all fail to realize when he was doing that, he had Sue. Aaron Donald had a prime Sue almost over there for many of years. Who on our line is equivalent to Sue? Who's on our line that's ever been in the same realm as Donovan Sue, Donkey Kong Sue? Who's been on that? Yeah. Shoot, man. Shoot. Boy. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to attempt, since it's 1 o'clock where I'm at, I may change colors again, but I'm going to attempt to bring y'all on the StreamYard, and I'm going to send the links and all of that good stuff over. And we're going to try to get this going the best way possible on the StreamYard like we did last time. Bear with me. We're going to get this going. Bear with me. This show is going to keep rolling until the wheels fall off the camp. There's no practice today. There's no practice today, ladies and gentlemen. There's no practice today. So we're going to talk about this in the best way possible. Let's just see if I can get this going the best way possible. Hold on. Let me give y'all something at least to look at while I'm building this plane as we fly. Okay? And like I said, if you have a difference of opinions, come on in. Cowboy Nation, we're going to share this information and intel. And we're going to try to get things moving and grooving, Cowboy Nation. We're going to try to get it moving and grooving in the best way possible. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know how y'all feel about everything. We're going to see if we can get this show on the road and keep it going in the best way possible. All right, so with that being said, I got this right here. Let me see. Boom. It's going to be in the description box. Brandy, appreciate you for jumping in. To join the stream, click here. All right, so if you go to my YouTube page or Facebook page or Twitter, you should see that link there to join the stream. It's pinned to the top of the page. I want to know your thoughts. You're going to have good Wi-Fi, good internet, and all of that good stuff to join in. And we're going to see what we can do, Cowboy Nation. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Let me know if the audio is straight. Can y'all hear me now better? Let me know, because once I pull that up, of course, the audio get low. All right, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me good. Put a 1 in the chat if the audio is okay. Okay? All right, and let me go right here. Copy. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. All right, and the link is there. You had to click on that link at the top of my YouTube page, or it's hovering around on my Facebook to join in on this conversation. The audio is good. Appreciate you. All right, so yeah. We should have good audio now. All right, so everything should be good now to go. Right, Cowboy Nation. All right, so with that being said, the Jones is better. Okay, appreciate you, boy. We building the plane as we fly, baby. Come on. I no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. This is Micah Parsons. He is 1,000% correct with that particular statement, okay? And he said he no longer wants to play. And I get all of that. All right, so the first caller we have is Emmanuel. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by Law Nation Sports. Talk to me.
Hey, Law, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll be really short, right? I definitely think Jerry Joe needs to leave this team. Unfortunately, it would never happen, but I pray that we can sign Micah. I feel like the same thing that's going to happen over and over again. I know it's just a waste of time. It's really unfortunate that we still need to go over and over the same thing with Dak, with City, and again today with Micah. So hopefully this can stop one day and we can move forward from that. Because as the fan, we deserve better. We are suffering every year, and we are definitely tired of these people. But we'll see what's going to happen. All right. Thank you very much, and good job, Law. I appreciate that.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you for jumping in. All right, so that was Emmanuel. He had a good, strong argument there that the Cowboys definitely need to stop their strategy. We've been doing this same strategy for a long time, not a short time, Cowboy Nation. We've been doing the exact same strategy of beating up our own and then expecting different results. It's crazy. And it's crazy how we handle these type of contract negotiations. And I am awake states I don't blame Parsons for that. I agree. I think that most of Cowboy fans are tired of us seeing guys that's out here. My volume is still very low. What about now? Can y'all hear me good? Yeah, this. What about now? Can y'all hear me good now? Boy, I got this thing sky high over here. All right, y'all, let me know if the audio is better now. Yeah, yeah. Let me know if the audio is better now. I got it turned all the way turned up. All right, I got Too Cool. He's live here. Let's join him up on, bring him up on the stage. Appreciate you, Too Cool. You're live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Low.
Yeah, what you got for me today, bro?
Man, I think we just gotta, you know me and my stance with these contracts, man. I think we just gotta let it play out, man.
Break it down.
I mean, because like I said, this is a different year when it comes to defensive ends, man. Like you got five of probably the best defensive ends in the league that was all in the country.
Yellow, yellow. Riggs, Riggs, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, boy. All right,
Yeah, I was
so
just saying you got five prominent defensive ends
yeah,
that was in a contract year right now, right? And
yeah,
I just feel like as a
yeah.
as a GM and a negotiator, Michael Parsons, no matter what, is going to reset the market, right? But if you can avoid him resetting the market by having a mean or average of that baseline between Miles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson. Because when you look at it, for me, 1, 2, 3 would be T.J. Watts, Miles Garrett, and Trey Hendrickson. When it just comes to bodies of work and how long they've been in the league, and you use that as a baseline. So we don't know what that contract looked like for Trey Hendrickson until he signs on a dotted line. Because if he signed for 37 million and Miles Garrett is at 41, do you instantly say, hey, we're gonna start negotiations in the middle of that 37 and 41, or do we just say, forget it, we're gonna make Michael Parsons the highest paid player in NFL history on defense?
Right. All right. So this is what's going on with Parsons. Okay. He literally said that he would have wanted to get the deal done last year, right? And he didn't want to be the highest paid. And I get that. And some of this is on the agent. I know it take two to tango. And there was something that was done for what I was told in principle that they wanted to agree with, and Parsons thought that it was going to get done, but when it was got down to like crossing the T's, dotting the I's, that Jerry wanted to get it done that day, and they didn't get it done, so they kicked it out and they pushed it back, right? So from that aspect, Jerry told Micah that we're going to get it done on my turn, on my watch now, not on their watch. And one thing I know for sure with Jerry, he takes things personal to a degree. And I could be wrong, but I'm just saying he takes things personal. And by him saying that, hey, I don't know who David Mulugeta is, I don't talk to him, and these sorts of things, I know it's bullshit, right? Because we got George Pickens who signed under David Mulugeta. You have Malik Hooker who signed under David Mulugeta, right? So you got multitudes of people that signed under that agency that he had to be in communications with, and he had to know. So they let us know that Jerry Jones, people talking about me and feelings, I think that Jerry Jones been in his feelings.
Yeah, I buy that. And then also, I was just talking to my homeboys earlier, and I said, man, one thing about it, two things for sure that we learned in these past 3 years, or we should have learned in the past 3 years. Jerry Jones will take this check to the bank and wait literally before the season start and cash it. Because now when the season start, again, he takes the headline. Right now, he's owning the headlines
Yep.
with this whole Michael Parsons contract thing. Back in the back of Jerry's head, he knows he's gonna sign Michael Parsons. He knows he's gonna make Michael Parsons the highest paid player. It's just if you sign.
Yellow. Yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's,
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
I
if you
lost you.
sign, yeah,
Yeah.
it just keeps cutting out. But if the season start tomorrow and they sign him, he in the headlines. If he wait, he can be in the headlines. If not, man, that man not in the headlines. This is
Mhm.
headline material right now because he hasn't signed Michael Parsons.
But you know what? Know what it is altogether though, bro. Before I let you go and let the next person on,
What's
is
that,
I
love?
think that Micah, they didn't expect this. they didn't expect Micah to speak out. CD Lamb, to a degree, you can see his frustration last year, right, by him holding out, working, running the sands. And Dak Prescott, he just different, right? He get beat up and he comes out to practice every day. When Dak Prescott should have, all three of these guys should have joined together and just not show up last year. This all would have been done. If Dak, Lamb, and Parsons didn't show up to camp last year, all three of these deals have been done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that too, though.
Yeah. But, man, I appreciate you for calling in. Anything else you got before I let you go?
Oh, no problem. No. That's it. That's all I had.
No doubt, man. That's too cool, man. Bringing in some good stuff for us to listen upon. I want my guy, man, from the 305, man, because if my guy from the 305, you know who you are, if he calls in, boy, because he's been on the situation of trading Parsons for a long time. And I would love for my guy from the 305 to hit this line, man, and get on in here. But I got Blog Mama, man. You live, Mambo. Who this is? My bad. I'm messing up your name.
Block Mamba Law.
Mamba. Okay, man. My hooked on funny guys wasn't hooking. But what you got for me,
No
man?
problem.
Yeah.
Listen, man, like this is I'm a longtime Cowboys fan, and listen, yo, what I'm trying to figure out is why do the Cowboys act like I'm even willing to give a concession for maybe Dak going through contract, negotiations and stalling out CD, but we're acting like Micah Parsons is not a top 3 defender in all of football, right? Like just pay that man in Deion's words. But I'm like, why are we negotiating that? And then not only is he top 3 Law, he said he doesn't have to be the highest paid.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, it's mind-boggling. And then it makes me think Jerry is doing this, or the Jones family, I should say the Jones family is doing this for clickbait, to get their name out there, doing, the Hall of Fame game, all this stuff, doing all this stuff. And it's like, yo, is this for a Netflix thing, man? Like, it just bothers me. Like, we're treating Micah Parsons like he's like the 11th best defender in football. No, he's top 3, Law.
Yeah. And it is sad because of the fact that people, what this does is it draws sides, right? Like we arguing against ourselves versus not focusing in on Philly right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We don't have our star-studded player paid, and this right now is a divide, not just within the fan base, but you seeing your other star players speaking out against this, like your CD Lamb, like the other guys that's on this team, Wanye, Trayvon Diggs. So it is crazy to have this type of turmoil on your team when we supposed to be a team. All of that great stuff that we built up as far as continuity and rapport with each other with Shotty is pretty much being flushed down the drain now because of the fact that the ownership is not willing to bend and go ahead and get this contract done.
Right, yo.
Yeah.
That's all I got, though, Law. Thank you,
Appreciate
man.
you. Good call from you, man. Thank you for jumping in, bro. Good call,
Word.
man. Yes, indeed. All right. So with that being said, I got 100 grand, man. Where you at? I thought I saw you in here, man. Call in, bro. So when we get these type of things going and we get these type of situations to happen, it's never a good feeling. It's never a good feeling, ladies and gentlemen. It's never a good feeling, especially when we start talking about these things. I can't say he doesn't want to be the highest paid and not sign a deal on the table. Well, we don't. Here's the thing that we don't know. The Cowboys shot themselves in the foot when Stephen Jones about 2 weeks ago said we don't leak out conversations about contracts and what's holding up the deal. And we have been in this space talking about contracts for a long time, not a short time. And I recall the contract with Dak Prescott, what was holding it up was the length of years, right? And they said that one of the agencies, they wanted Dak to get back to get the new money when the new collective bargaining agreement come out, right? But I heard just a couple of weeks ago that Stephen Jones said we don't leak out or we don't give out information of what holding the contract up. Well, I come here to tell y'all that literally the contract is being held up due to things that they are refusing to release now. I wonder what changed, what happened. Do y'all understand what happened? Shout out to you, Sanjay. He says, I don't support loser ownership. I feel you, man. I feel you on that. Micah is under contract through the year 2025 for $24 million. They tag him twice, 27 and 33. He won't miss a game. $50K per day in camp. $1 million for missing games. We're better prepared to play with or without him now. And I'm looking at this situation, and a shout out to you for that read right here. Let me give it Forever DC. The problem is, look up the handshake agreement law. Yeah, I feel you, man. Handshake agreement, but give me some ink on paper, though. Give me ink on paper all day, Cowboy Nation. I would take the ink on paper. But when you look at everything, Cowboy Nation, and you start to say to yourself, somebody said that calmly throws another interception. That's funny. Yeah. But when you look at everything, it is just so hard for this team to get ahead when you are dealing with all of these other things. When you're dealing with things that's outside of football, outside of the way that we try to win games. Right now, we have the ability to be like that knot on the rope. When the opposing forces pull on that knot's supposed to get tighter. But instead, we talking about money. And we talking about money that we do have, by the way. It's not like we don't have the money. We sitting on $32 million. We sitting on money. We can get this deal done. What we expecting today for Bland to get paid, Tyler Smith to get paid, for Micah Parsons to go into this next season with the expectations, when you plan on a franchise tag or the final year of your contract, either you're going to play above or better. Or not. Either you're going to play the same or better than what you paid this previous year. That's just for what it is. And I wouldn't blame players getting angry and upset at this. Like I said, the franchise tag is a terrible way to do business. It's a terrible way to do business. You can't prorate that money. You can't spread that money out. Between Dalton Schultz and Tony Pollard, that's equivalency of about $22 million that you can't prorate and spread that money out. It's a big cap hit. It goes negatively. And I mean just that, negatively, against the team that you could have built. Most of the times, football is a game of inches. You are one or two players away. And if anybody say, oh man, we are not one or two players away, come on with it. I feel you, but at the end of the day, that's football, a game of inches. You don't think that a Saquon Barkley wasn't a difference maker for, dare I say, the Eagles? You don't think that when we look at all of those teams that won the championship, that one player that made a move, that most teams are not only thinking about one player, they're thinking about how they can stop the groups. But in Cowboys land, if you shut down Dak, you win the game. If you shut down Parsons, you win the game. There's nobody else in the postseason that can give you anything. Nobody. Not a run game, not stopping a run, not catching an INT, not even being a difference maker at coaching. So that's why we say, hey, this team's supposed to be a team sport, not an individual. But so many people make this an individual sport. All right, so to join this stream, click the link that's at the top of the stream there. We'll give it another 5 to 6 minutes here. If nobody else jump in, we can go ahead and depart, and we can go look at other things throughout this day. But I'm going to let y'all know that this team, this is not an individual sport. This is a team sport. And the person that get all of the glow and all of the shine for all of these years on winning championships and beyond is Tom Brady. But one thing I can tell you about Tom Brady, he was always on a complete team. Look at his defenses. Look at their weapons that they got on the defensive side. Look at the weapons that they got on the offensive side of being able to run the ball, a balanced team. Look at the things that they added to for him to win. But we kind of like look at it now and say, oh, it's only one person. And it's not the case nor the scenario, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got Mr. Slayer. You just got to connect your device, and then we'll be able to get you in. Yeah. Mr. Slayer, we're gonna get you connect. We'll get you tapped in a few. But your device is not connecting. Yeah, your device is definitely not connecting there. Yo, we're gonna try to get you in. Yeah. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. If we offended anyone, charge it to my beard, not my heart. Appreciate everybody for being part of these type of conversations. I know that there's always going to be a difference of opinions. I always say this, I'm not trying to change your opinion. Those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. And just for what it is, Cowboy Nation, the Dallas Cowboys been down this road before, and I'm quite sure we're going to go down this road many of times. They say when you point the finger, just look at your hand. You got three pointing back at you. We're one or two players, and Stephen Jones say, away from winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, our wave is crazy. We all know that that's crazy. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, those who understand this, that there's nothing new under the sun. And what Jerry Jones thinking that he's doing in his mind and his cranium, that this is the multi-dimensional law, right? Well, we in multiple galaxies right now, speaking and reaching out to all of you guys on this particular pathway. The price of the bag is not going to get lower. It's going to get higher. The longer you wait for them leaves to fall off of that tree, there's no such thing as, hey, let me just play for the discount now. No, that's the price of doing business. I had a friend of mine, worked with the government, looking at a house in Prosper, Texas. I'll never forget the house that they decided to purchase, and the land, the plot of land and all of that stuff was nearing right at $680,000, give or take. But in Texas, it's rapidly growing. It's rapidly increasing. And the price that you paid last year will not be the price that you paid this year. That same house at $680,000 is now $1.2 million. A little over a year and a half. What happened? The market and increase. A difference a year will make. So what I'm getting at is just like the housing market, it's just like with these players. Now, sometimes the market can fall. But not over here in Dallas. Y'all let me know. I'm looking for land in Frisco then, if that's the case. You know. But at the end of the day, this is what we're dealing with. We can't expect a player to get something that he's owed 2 years ago today. It's not going to happen. And this deadline that make deals, I get it, I understand it. you sullying and denigrating your own player, these guys, they get energy off of us. We are vibrational people, frequency people. You can feel the energy of a person before you greet them. And then if you have strong energy, you can leave a room and you can tell that the presence of that person has been in that room based off of their energy. So what I'm getting at, if we have negative energy, negative connotation before we go into the season, it can carry on. Last year was CeeDee Lamb, negative energy, negative connotation. He didn't play like the season he did before. With Dak Prescott, negative energy, negative connotation. He didn't play like the year before. Jason Bourne, appreciate the therapy session, brother. Love, always, good show. Content, just showing support. Appreciate you, JB. Thank you. So I'll tell you guys, on my way up out of here, guard your energy. Guard the people that you hang around because they can rub off on you and they can give you some negative connotations, negative thoughts, and it can give you a bad vibe. These players, they love Parsons. They love the idea that they got this young lion out there on the field. They see the potential. They looking at it like, hey, this is what we can add to. But by you having doubt, that creates all types of negative things. Doubt and fear are very much so related. They are. Doubt and fear are related. And when you have doubt, it creates the fear. And when you have fear, it creates the worrisomes. Your cortisol levels builds up. Every atom, all trillion cells in your body begins to become a little weaker. But when you have confidence and you have the faith and you have everything working in your way and your power, that's why the authentic version of you, there's no greater source of energy, of you being of who you are. You speaking from your heart of being who you are. But when you have that doubt, and you have that fear start settling in, you never live up to your max capabilities. There's people right now that's watching this video, they got great power within them. They got unbelievable skill set within them. They don't have the motivator, they hanging around with the wrong crowd. They don't have that other source of person that can give them great frequency, great vibration. And they tone it down. Become what you're speaking. But I come here to tell y'all, on my way out, this is about the sinew of your soul and mind. As everyone is very much so self-made, only the successful ones will admit it. But if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, and plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, sagacity, with faith, hope, confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold or poverty or the famish of fame or the sickness of body or brain can turn you away from the things you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty and everyone that's walking on this ground that's able to see me operate within the confines of my purpose. There's two most important days of your life: the day you was born and the day you realize your purpose. As long as you're operating your purpose, everything will work its way out. Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's get it, Cowboy Nation. We about. Peace. One love.
line up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fold, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up.
Right. I want my flowers while I'm living.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check the song. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change to the safe, got blues inside.
No doubt. Let's look at practice today.
I still say and roll my change, take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
All right. Got a big super chat, $1.99, $200. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your support. Experience 103065. The bottom line, he's under contract. As a business owner, you sign a contract, you fulfill your contract. Bottom line, he's under contract. As an owner, you sign a contract, you fulfill your contract. At the end of the day, and I appreciate you for the $200, man. At the end of the day, when the contracts get to the end of life, what we're fighting for is the fact that he's going to have to pay more. Now, granted, he is under contract, and I'm thinking that's why he's going to be there and not get those $50,000 daily fines. But what he's saying, what Parsons is saying is basically, I no longer wants to be here. Under contract or not, he want to be with the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't want to be with him blindly or trustfully, I guess, you know. It feels like if though my best way to say this, Micah Parsons is not celebrated, he's tolerated, and he feels it. And that's what he's saying is, I want to go where I'm celebrated and not tolerated. You know, so that's what Parsons is saying collectively, and I appreciate you. He is under contract, right? So it's just like a lady. She can be dating a guy, right, for 4 or 5 years, and if she wants to be something that's a little bit more than dating, she wants to get that ring. So she's saying to the man, "When will you propose to me? I'm not a kid. I don't want no promissory ring. I want a commitment." And the commitment size is what I've done here in the last few years is of this level. You can't just come to me with a promissory ring. Man, come on with it. That's what Parsons' team is basically saying.
Go, man!
But I
Let's
appreciate
go!
your support. Let's get on up out of here. Nope, no, not that one right now. I will slow it down just a little bit. Where my guys at? Come on, here you go. Yeah. Come on.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in, yeah. Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for you.
And you.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. Damn, you know it's dangerous to go alone. Whoa, don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do. Player too. Seven years of the perfect love. 7 more and another one. And another one. Finding you was the one I love.
Pay attention to the rip disengage. 94 did a good job on that one. On the way out, look at this video footages of, dare I say, the D line versus the O line. And remember, sounds of soft souls. And hits and oldies.
Don't let the street lights hit you. Can
I be on.
player too? I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do.
Brock Hoffman. Boy, who's 67? God dog. 77 with a good rep there.
Paper crank and fly. Then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly